How are you? Welcome back to the channel Safety with Pom. So in this today video, we will discuss about the excavation safety related hazard risk and how we can avoid those hazard and risk. And in this video, I will let you know all the information which is required as per the OSHA's requirement as per the 29 CFR 1926. So OSHA's need some requirements as per their regulations and that we have to follow as per the requirements and to comply with the laws and regulations. So let's start this video regarding the excavation safety related hazard and risk and how we can avoid them. Before starting this video, I would like to request that please do not forget to subscribe the channel if you haven't, and please like the video, share the video also, and comment in the comment section. And thank you for your support. So let's start this video. So, before starting this training, I would like you to just watch this video. In this video, you can see there's the people. There are two workers. They are working, and there is a JCB that is excavating the areas. And as here, you can see this wall is now is falling down, and you can see here there is no proper protection to avoid any cave-ins and for avoid any excavation hazards. So that's why we need to be very careful whenever we are performing any excavation activity, and all the parameters related to health and safety and all the what you call the requirements that we have to follow. So let's discuss this video. After this video, let's discuss the OSHA's requirement as per the 29 CFR 1926, okay, subpart P related to the excavations. So I will inform you in this video all these requirements as per the OSHA's required, okay, as OSHA requires for the different areas and different equipment and protective systems that we have to use. And what are those requirements? Let's discuss. The first one, we have the protective systems. So as per the OSHA's, it is required for trenches deeper than 5 feet. If you are excavating or making any trench deeper than 5 feet, then you have to use a protective system. It is the requirement for the OSHA. Unless the excavation is made entry in a stable rock. If it is made in a stable rock, only then it is not required. But if you are excavating even in a stable rock, I would suggest go for the protective system as well. For depth less than 5 feet, a competent person must determine if there is a cave-in risk. But if you are excavating less than 5 feet, there should be a expert, okay, competent person like a engineer. They must tell you that whether there is a risk of cave-in or not. As per their suggestions, you have to go for the protective system. Then the protective system, it includes the sloping, cutting back the trench wall, okay, one of the options. The second option, we have the soaring. Then the third option, we have the shielding, using trench boxes to protect workers. Then the number two, competent person. OSHA has required that there should be a competent person, and the competent person must be aware and knowledgeable about the inspect the excavation daily. The competent person must inspect the excavation daily and as condition changes. And the person should be capable of identifying the hazards, authorized to take corrective actions and measures also. So that is the requirement for the by the OSHA for the competent person. And the competent person should be able to classify the type of soil A, B, or C to choose the appropriate protective system, because soil condition is very important before suggesting any protective system. So as per the soil condition classification, you have to choose the protective system. Then the third requirement is for the access and egress. Trenches which is deeper than 4 feet or more must have a safe means of access and egress, such as ladders or ramps that should be there. When you are placing any access, the access point must be within 25 feet of all workers. Okay, let's say that this is the excavation here. Okay, then you are keeping the ladder here, this point, and the worker is working here, this point. So this distance should not be more than 25 feet, because worker has to travel till there to reach the ladder. So you have to keep a ladder within the vicinity of 25 feet of the worker for the all workers. Then the hazardous atmosphere, number 4. So as per OSHA, tests for oxygen deficiency need to be done. Toxic gases also need to be done. Flammable gases in trenches, which is deeper than 4 feet. So there you have to conduct a test. Especially if the trench is in near or landfills or sewer systems, you have to conduct these tests. You know that sewer systems, they will generate the toxic gases. Okay, so that's why you have to do it. Ventilation or respiratory protection may be required as per the requirement, as per the depthness of the trenches. Number 5, falling loads and spoil piles. As per OSHA's, you have to keep the excavated material, spoils and piles and equipment at least 2 feet from the edge of trench. Okay, if this is the trench edge, then this is the trench here, then this is the edge, then this distance should be 2 feet. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are maintaining the 2 feet distance here, and only the equipment or vehicle, other things or piles, that should be here, not closer than this. You have to use barriers or restraints if this is not possible. Then number 6, surface and vehicular traffic. Use warning systems, barricades, hands or mechanical signals and stop locks. Trench protective system must withstand load from nearby structure or traffic. So trench protection system also withstand the load, whatever the load is coming nearby. So that also need to be supported by the trench system, protection system. Then we have the another hazard, water accumulation. OSHA says that worker must not work in excavation with standing water. If there is any standing water, unless adequate precautions are taken, such as pumps or diversions, ditches, or competent person authorize it. If only the competent person is authorizing to work, only then the worker should start to work. So this is the requirement. Then number 8, inspection. Excavation must be inspected daily and by the competent person. Okay, and it should be inspected after every rainstorm or other hazard increasing occurrence before work entry. So this is the requirement of inspection for the excavations or trenches before any work is starting. Then the utility locates. Before doing any excavation work, you have to make sure that there is no utilities underground, and before digging, locate underground utilities and mark their positions also. If you want to learn the location of the utilities, you have to call 811 in US for the utility location. Different countries may have the different numbers that you have to use. So these all the OSHA's requirement. Okay, total 9 requirements are there as per the OSHA's. How we have to use these all 9 requirements in our day-to-day life when we're doing the excavation work. In this video, I will let you know in the detailed way. Okay, and what other risks and the hazards could be there and how we can avoid them. That I will also let you know in this video further. Okay. So before moving forward, I have a question for you. There's a question for you. The question is, for excavation 5 feet or more in depth, what protective system is generally required to protect employees from cave-ins? Just now I inform you. Okay. So what are the things you need if excavation is more than 5 feet? Hard hats or safety glasses, a competent person inspection every shift, an adequate protective system such as sloping, shoring or shielding, warning signs and barricades. What is your answer? You can pause the video and choose your answer. So I'm now moving to the answer. The answer is adequate protective system such as sloping, shoring, or shielding required. This is the answer. Now let's move to the excavation hazards. The cave-ins are the greatest risk. Okay, cave-ins is the greatest risk in the excavation hazard. Just now I show you the video. Okay, in that video you can see that that is cave-in. That is the more likely risk in the excavation. Other hazards are included asphyxiation due to lack of oxygen, inhalation of toxic materials, maybe there are some gases or other things are there already. The next thing is the fire. Inside the excavation area, there could be the fire also, flammable gases also. Fire could be done by the flammable materials also. Okay. Then moving machinery near the edges of excavation can cause collapse. Okay, if you are moving the material near the edges of the excavation, then this wall can collapse also here inside. So that's why you have to maintain 2 feet distance to the wall. Accidental shivering of underground utility lines. If you are not checking the utility lines before excavation, then this condition may arise. So that's why you have to check the utility lines also before starting any excavation. That's very, very important. Injury and death can also occur very commonly. Excavating is one of the most hazardous construction operation, as you know that, and most accidents it is occur between trenches between 5 to 15 feet of deep excavation, and there is usually no warning before a cave ends. So you don't know there is a sudden movement of the wall or the cave ends or the equipments, and suddenly that uh, excavation will fall on the worker. So there won't be any signage or anything warnings. Let's start some definitions. Okay, these are the normal definitions that we use in our day-to-day life in our work. So excavation, it is a man-made cut, cavity, trench, or depression formed by the removal. Okay, by the removal of soil. So trench is a narrow by the earth removal. Okay, then the trench, it is a narrow excavation. So excavation is different, trench is different. Trench is a narrow excavation. Okay, it is depth is greater than the width, but not wider than 15 feet. It is not wider than 15 feet. It is a trench. Then we have the shield. Shield is a structure table. It is a structure. It is able to withstand a cave in and protect employees. The shield is equipment that we use to avoid the cave in. Then we have the shoring. It is a structure that supports the sides of an excavation and protects against cave-ins. Then sloping. Sloping is a technique that employs a specific angle of incline on the sides of the excavation. The angle varies based on the assessment of impacting the site factor. So sloping. Sloping, you will go incline. Okay, down like this. And this way you will go down. So those were the definition. The focus of the training will be the greatest risk of an risk at an excavation. Okay, how to protect the employees from cave-ins. Then the factors that pose a hazard to employees working in excavation. After that, the role of competent person at an excavation site. Sorry. So all these things we will discuss in this training. The protection of employees, that is the number one responsibility. Okay, and this is the top priority also during the work of excavation. So what we have to do, we have to make sure that employees should be protected from cave-ins by using an adequate design protective system. So as per the depth of the excavation, you have to design a protective system to make sure that workers are safe inside that excavation. Then the protective system must be able to resist all expected loads to the system. Requirements for protective system. A well-designed protective system is required by a competent person, and correct design of sloping and benching system is required. Then the correct design of support system, shield system, and other protective system is very, very important. Plus, appropriate handling of materials and equipment. It is very, very important. Sometimes the people, they don't use it properly, and they may also damage the equipment also. So that should be avoided. Plus, attention to correct installation and removal. It is very, very important. While you are installing it, it is very, very important to make sure that it is inspected by a competent person to make sure that it has been installed properly and correctly it has been removed. Equals to protection of employees at excavation. Next question for you. What is the definition of an excavation according to OSHA 29 CFR 1926 Part B? So what is excavation? Definition, just I inform you. A, B, C, or D. You can pause the video and you can choose your answer. Now I'll move to the answer. Our answer is excavation. It is any man-made cut, cavity, trench, or depression in the earth's surface formed by earth removal. Okay, so this is the definition of excavation. It is a man-made cut, cavity, or trench, or depression in earth's surface formed by earth removal. Now, design of protective systems. When you are designing any protective system, the employer shall select and construct slopes and configuration of sloping and benching system. Number one. The second, support system, shield system, and other protective system need to be consideration should be taken in these things. Shield can be permanent or portable, also known as trench box or trench shield. So the shield is could be permanent also, or it could be portable also. It is as per your requirement that you can select. Then we have the shoring such as metal, hydraulic, mechanical, or timber shoring system that support the sites. So we have the different one. We have the hydraulic one, mechanical one, or the timber shoring that we have. So you can choose as per your requirement. Then we have the sloping from sides of an excavation that are inclined away from the excavation. So sloping, what you will do, suppose this area you are working here and it is deeper here. So what you will do, you will make a long line here, okay, slope you will provide it here. So the people they can easily they can go, okay. It will go from here, it will go to the up incline, and the people they can easily go out. Protect employees exposed to potential cave-ins. How we can protect the employees from the potential cave-ins? So slope or bench the sides of the excavation. That is the number one requirement that we can use. Support the sides of the excavation and place a shield between the sides of the excavation and the work area. So these are the options that we have that we can use to protect our workers from the cave-ins. You can see here, okay, it is properly protected here by the shield and trench boxes, and there is a ladder also properly placed there, and the person can easily come out from here, okay. So this is the way. Question for you: who is responsible for ensuring that a competent person inspected excavations, adjacent areas, and protective systems? So who is responsible that to make sure that a competent person is doing his roles and responsibility properly? Who is responsible to make sure that? So what is your answer? A, B, C, or D? Again, you can pause the video and you can choose your answer. I'm moving to the answer. So it is the employer responsibility to make sure that the person whom they hired as a competent person, to make sure that the competent person is performing his roles and responsibilities in terms of excavation. Now we have the cave in hazards. So this excavation has inadequate support post and egress access. You can see here there is no protection over here, and vehicle also is very nearby here. They can easily come near to this edges, and this wall can fall down easily here. So cave ins is very easy here, okay, and there is no protection also here. There is no ladder, walker cannot come out very easily here, so they have the great risk. So this is the inadequate protective system. So this way you should not allow to work the worker over there. Inadequate protective systems, this worker in trench, you can see here, this worker is working here, okay. This is also one of the example. There is an inadequate protective system. There is no protective system over here, nothing is there. So you can see here this wall can easily cave in, and that is not sloped or benched and has no means of egress. I cannot see any ladder or anything is there, and it is not sloped, no trench boxes, nothing is there. So those conditions need to be avoided, and the people should not allow any worker to work in those conditions. Next question: according to OSHA, when must a competent person inspect excavation? So as I told you earlier that as per the OSHA, it is required that the competent person should inspect the excavation. So when a competent person should inspect an excavation? So what is your answer? So we have four options. Option B, A, B, C, and D. So what is your answer? You can choose your answer, and you can pause the video and choose your answer. So all of the above. So at the beginning of each work day, competent person should inspect the trenches. Okay. And excavation should be inspected after any rainstorm or other hazards increasing occurrence, after any movement of the protective systems. So all of these, if happening over there, then the excavation should be inspected by the competent person. Let's go to this video before we start, and can see here there is no protective systems, and now vehicle pass and that provide the pressure on this wall, and then that wall fell down. Now you can see here in this one, the vehicle, even the vehicle pass here, but there is a protective systems and the workers are protected now. So in this way, we can protect our worker by providing the proper protective systems here. Otherwise, what will happen? Our worker, they will keep suffer, and the worker may die also, and they may get the great more injury in this way. So that's why these things should be avoided by the proper protection system. Now, the factors involved in designing our protective systems. There are certain factors involved in while you are designing a protective system. So, first of all, soil classification. As per the soil, you have to design a protective system, whether it is A, B, C, or the rock. Depth of the cut, how deep it is. Then the water content of soil, as per the soil classification, how much water is there. Changes due to weather and climate. What are the weather and the climate is there in that certain in that area where you're going to use this protective system, and other operations in the vicinity. In the vicinity area, what other operations are going on? There are heavy equipments are running over there, or there is a light traffic, heavy traffic, or there is already a construction sites or other thing where the vibration is happening. So many things are could be there that you have to consider before designing a protective system. Then we have the shoring. Shoring, the general requirement, it is provides a framework to work in. Then use walls, cross braces, and uprights, and it is supports the excavation walls. So OSHA tables provides shoring data that must know soil type before using any shoring. Then must know depth and the width of the excavation, and must be familiar with the OSHA tables. So that is the requirement for the shoring. Then we have the trench shield. So the trench rail was built around this work area. You can see here, this is the trench rail. It is built around the work area here. Question: what is the primary purpose of trench box or shield? Option A, B, C, or D. You can choose your answer and pause the video. Let's move to the answer. Our answer is answer B. To provide a safe working area for employees inside the box in case of cave-in. That is the work of a trench boxes. Okay, so that's why we have to use the trench box. Another one, we have the hydraulic trench support. You can see here by the hydraulic system, it is putting down. Okay, using a hydraulic jacks, the operator can easily drop the system down into the hole. Then once it is placed inside the hole, then hydraulic pressure can be increased and it will be fixed over there. Trench pins are installed in case of hydraulic failure. So hydraulic trench support also is one of the best system is available over there in the market. So that also you can use it. Then we have the materials and equipments, which is near the construction area. Equipment used for protective systems must not have damage or defects that impair function. Then if equipment is damaged, the competent person must examine it too before starting any work, and if it is not suitable for work, that should be excluded from the work area. That is the requirement for the materials and equipment. Protection from the vehicles. So the protection also required from the vehicles which is running near the excavation areas. Okay, so that we have to make sure. Install barricades to avoid the vehicles coming near the excavation area. There could be a separate walkway or separate separate way for the traffic and the separate way for the people who's walking in the areas. Hence, mechanical signals also can be used. Stop logs, grade soil away from excavation, and the fence or barricade trenches left overnight. So these are the things that you can use to protect the excavation from the vehicles. Otherwise, these things will happen. Vehicles will fall inside the excavation. Sorry. Under OSHA regulations, what is the minimum distance that excavated material spoil must be kept from the edge of an excavation? If you remember, in the starting of the video, I inform you regarding the distance that you have to maintain from the excavation, if you are keeping any vehicle, any equipment, or anything, or the spoil from the excavation. So A, B, C, or D. What is the distance that you have to maintain? So our answer is option B. It is 2 feet distance that you have to maintain from the excavation if you are keeping anything nearby that. Now the hazardous condition. Let's see here hazardous condition over here. The weight and the vibration of the crane make this a very hazardous condition. You can see here the crane is running over here, the side by side, and it is and it's making it is very hazardous. And the worker is, you can see here, they are working over here, and it is very dangerous. Easily this, and there is no protection system. I can't see any protection system. It is very deep. Okay, more than 10 feet it could be, and once this wall cave ins, then these workers easily can die over here. So these conditions should be avoided. It is very hazardous. Then we have the spoils. Don't place spoils within 2 feet from the edge of excavation. Okay, you can see here. This spoils, what they will do, they will increase the load on these walls easily, and this wall will cave in. Measure from the nearest part of the spoil to the excavation edge. Place a spoil so rainwater runs away from the excavation. Another thing also, during the rainwater, this spoils again will come inside the excavation, and it will increase your work. Place a spoil well away from the excavation. So in this way, you have to handle the spoils, okay, when you are doing any excavation. Other excavation hazards are there, such as water accumulation. If there is already a water, okay, inside in the ground, such as sewer water or another water is coming out, or before starting the excavation you didn't check the utility, maybe the water pipe over there, and during the excavation you damage that, then the water accumulation could be there. So that water you have to remove it. Okay, first you have to check the utility. Second thing, if there is a water, you have to take out the water by the pump, okay, to make sure that there is no any risk or hazard by the water accumulation. Oxygen deficiency. If you are digging down deeply more than 5 feet, the oxygen deficiency will be very common. Okay, as deeper you will go, the trench will be very narrow. Okay, it will be very narrow, and oxygen will deficient also. So in this way, you have to make sure that you are providing the proper supply of oxygen. Then the toxic fumes also could be there. Maybe could be the gas pipe also could be there. Maybe the sewer line also could be there, or any biodegradable material also could be there. So that also could be the risk. So that you have to do the first testing, gas testing that you have to do. Then the access and egress also could be there. So you have to make sure that the proper access and egress you are providing. Falls, the cave-ins, and the mobile equipment also could be the risk of falling. So water is hazardous, as you know, as I told you that. So before, note that these workers are not wearing hard hats also here. You can see here. They are working very hard, without hard hats, and if any material fall down, that can hit on their head also, and severe injury can happen. So when water is present in an excavation, it is extremely hazardous to enter. So that's why you have to make sure that it is properly removed. Water should be removed properly. It is dry, and only then the worker should start to work over here, and with the proper protection and the PPE. Otherwise, it could be very dangerous for the worker. Water equal to cave-in hazards, very common. You can see here the workers, they are working. There is a water also. Okay, so that should be removed first. There are too much water here. Yeah, and it is not protected also. Protective system is not installed. So hazardous atmosphere, when you are considering test excavation more than 4 feet before an employee enters the excavation. Before you are entering any excavation, before you are asking any worker to enter in the excavation, run a test 4 feet away. Okay, oxygen deficiency 1. Second, high combustible gases concentration. Then high levels of other hazardous substances. These are 3 main things that you have to test before you are asking any worker to enter in the excavation areas. Now the means of egress, how the worker will come out safely. So a stairway, ladder, or ramp must be present in excavation that are 4 feet or 4 or more feet deep and within 25 feet of the employees. So as per the OSHA, it is required that if any excavation is more than 4 feet deeper, then you have to provide a means of access, egress. So it could be a stairway, ladder, or ramp, any one of these. And when you are providing all three of these, any one of these, okay, it should be the vicinity of the, it should be within the 25 feet of the worker. Okay, if the worker is working here, then this ladder distance should not be more than 25 feet. Okay, this is the requirement by the OSHA. Then again, the ladder should extend 3 feet above the excavation. Now you can see here this ladder is very, very short. Now how the worker will go out from here? Even if the worker use the this one, what you call a ramp, this one top area, step over on the top area, worker will not be able to safely go out from this area. This ladder could be unstable and the ladder could fall down also and the worker can fall down also. So that's why OSHA has required that whenever you are using any ladder, this ladder should be 3 feet above the excavation. Let's say that this ladder is here. Okay, this is here. So when you are giving the proper ladder, the wall is here, so ladder should be extend till here, 3 feet. Okay, so 3 feet above the excavation, extended from the excavation. So 3 feet from it will go till here, till this line, and from here also 3 feet more height you have to give to the ladder. So the proper ladder should be used. Access and egress, these two ladders which are lashed together are not an adequate means of egress. You can see here these two ladders are lashed together and it is very, very unstable also and very unsafe. When the worker will use this one, these ladders can easily damage and detach also, and the worker can fall down also. And when we are using the ladder, as I told you, it should be extended 3 feet above, okay, from the top areas where the worker has to egress. Protection from falls, falling loads, and mobile equipment. How we can do that one? Install the barricades. Use hand and mechanical signals that you can do. You can grade the soil away from the excavation. Then fence or barricade trench is left overnight, and use a flagger when signs, signals, or barricades are not enough protections. So these are the protection system that we can use to avoid any falls, falling loads, and mobile equipments. Question for you. What is the definition of competent person in the context of excavation safety? So as usual, we have the four options. Okay, A, B, C, and D. You can pause the video and you can choose your answer regarding the competent person definition. So this is the answer. Competent person is an employee who is capable of identifying the existing and predictable hazards in the surroundings and or working conditions which are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous to employees, and who has authorized to take prompt and corrective measures to eliminate them. So this is the definition of the competent person. So as per OSHA, the competent person must have had a specific training and be knowledgeable about the soil classification. Person should be aware about the soil, the use of protective system, the requirement of the standards. And the person must be capable of identifying hazards, authorized to immediately eliminate hazards. Now, inspection of excavations that need to be done by the competent person. The competent person must make daily inspection of excavation areas around them and protective systems to make sure that before work start as needed and after rainstorm, high winds, or other occurrence which may increase the hazards, and when you can reasonably anticipate an employee will be exposed to hazards, then a competent person must inspect the excavation. So this is the requirement that a competent person should inspect the areas. The competent person finds evidence of a possible cave-ins, indication of failure of protective systems, hazardous atmosphere, or other hazardous condition, such as exposed employees must be removed from the hazardous area. Employees may not return until the necessary precautions have been taken. Sorry. Now, the site evaluation planning. Before beginning an excavation, a site need to be evaluated. First of all, evaluate soil conditions, as I told you. Then construct a protective system as per the soil requirement. Sorry. Test for low oxygen hazardous fumes and toxic gases, provide safe in and out access, contact the utilities, and determine the safety equipment as needed. So these are the things that we can do before starting any excavation work. Let's start with the true or false questions to test your knowledge. So ladder ramps or stairs are required for safe entry and exit, or excavation are 4 feet or more in depth. True or false? So underground utilities do not need to be located and marked before excavation work begins. True or false? Third number. A registered professional engineer must design all practical systems for excavation deeper than 20 feet. Water accumulation is an excavation is not a safety concern as long as pumps are available. Daily inspection by competent persons are only required if employees are entering the excavation. So what you say? So first one we have the true. Okay, this is the one. Yes, 4 feet. Then we have the false. Okay, underground utilities do not need to be located. Okay, a registered professional engineer must design all protective system. Yes, true. When the design is complex or specific. Fourth one is false. Water accumulation is a hazard. Then the inspection are required whenever employees exposure can be reasonably anticipated. So these are the answer. So that's all from my side for this video. I hope you like this video and the information which I provided you, and I hope these information will help you in your work and in your future also. And thanks for your support. Please do not forget to subscribe the channel and like the video, and please do comment also and share the video in the group also and to the other people also. Thank you for your support. See you in the next video.